Alright guys, what we have here is a cause of celebration for the Howlermouse here, okay? Talk about collecting coming full circle. This is an IDW Artist Edition of Kamandi, The Last Boy on Earth. This book is fantastic. Second time I've shot this video because I got lost in the art the first time I did it. A lot of quiet. So what we have here, IDW goes out and through whatever means they have, they are able to get the original art to complete issues of, in this case, Kamandi. They have many other ones by now. They've been doing these for years. Okay, this is the first one I have bought, but not the first one I've seen. And this is fantastic because you get the original comic book pages printed in order that they were in. So you can see the process and what they do, and you see all the flaws, you see all the tape, you see all the yellowing, you see the blue lines, the whiteouts. Just fantastic. It's a piece of art on its own. Just to give you scale, this is the actual size of a comic page that they made back in the 70s. So I found another book from the Bronze Age, more or less the 70s, to show you how these shrink down. Okay. Kirby was contracted to do 15 pages a week, and a lot of artists struggle to get 1 or 2 pages done a day. So that tells you what kind of workhorse he was. Kamandi was also pretty much his most successful book at this time at DC Comics. This came out in 1972. I started reading Kamandi probably around 77, 78 because Kirby scared the hell out of me with his artwork, where it's so blocky and just, he's a genius artist, but really, I had to turn the books over to go to sleep at night if they were in my room, so I didn't see his artwork. Now I love it. Okay, so we open up the book. Now it's interesting how I ended up doing this book. I got christened with the Howler Hustle because I get books cheap. A couple of my friends posted links on my Facebook page when this book was announced to be coming out about 3 months ago. I got to the local comic book shop. Man, this book is just a tad, be patient with me, it's just a tad hard to handle with the size and the weight. It's well put together. Anyway, they put the links for the announcement of this book, when it was going to be released and how much it was going to be, and I got to my local comic book shop, pre-ordered it, and they said it was going to be $75. I said, what's it going to be? $100, $125, $150? Because I've seen them range from $100 to $150. They said $75. Well, today they found out that is the retailer price, and they can actually mark it up as high as they want, but they honored it. On top of that, I just made a few small payments. I took in 3 key books with some first appearances there, cameos and whatnot, that were doubles in my collection. At the end of the day, they honored the $75 price, and I was able to, all in all, purchase this over the last 3 months. Came to $29 and some change, under $30. This book has the complete issues of Kamandi number 1, The Last Boy on Earth, Kamandi number 2, Year of the Rat, Kamandi number 5, The One-Armed Bandit, Kamandi number 6, Flower, one of my favorites, Kamandi number 7, The Monster Fetish, Kamandi number 9, Tracking Site. Now, what is funny about issue 3 and 4 not being here, as well as number 8, I have seen pages. I actually know people over the years who own those pages, and I would have loved to tell what was going on. In the back of the book, if I can find it easily, they have extras in here of those pages from those issues and sketches that Kirby did that were unpublished, and a few other things to throw in here. Okay, so just for an example of what you can get out of seeing the pages like this, what amazed me is you can see the tape. That's nothing new. This is taped on, the logos are taped on, the circle's taped on, 20 cents on top of it. You can see where they cut it out, probably with an X-Acto knife, very quick, taped everything on. But what I never knew is that this piece here, this art of the Statue of Liberty, is not on the same page as Kamandi and the Raft. This raft looks like it has been cut out, and you can see tape and whiteout where it's been put on top of it. The yellowing shows that it doesn't match the rest of the white of this. Okay, so that just really amazed me. The whiteout, you can see it. You can see these Bristol boards came with a place to put the cover title, the month it was coming out. Kamandi apparently was bi-monthly. That's ON for October, November, #1. Then we have identification number. And you can see tape on the top of these pages. I'm assuming this is where Kirby probably taped it down to his board when he did it, or somebody did, to put all the other stuff. You know, every splash page, first page of the comic back then had the legalities down here, volume type, any kind of legal practice they needed to do, addresses, you know, all sorts of things. As you go through here, Kirby always had a 2-page splash in every issue of Kamandi that he drew. My best recollecting, you know, as I'm doing this. And again, I'm already starting to get lost in the art, man. This is so, oh my God, it's just amazing how this page is filled. And you can tell that even though, you know, it's rich with blacks, it's exactly what needs to be there. The white and the black are balanced fantastically. Oh my gosh. All right, I want to move on. Now, when I first started making videos, you know, we had a community here, and it was much smaller, and I was the guy that came out and touted about Kamandi and Kirby and She-Hulk and John Byrne, a few things, and there were other people here, of course, who were into Kamandi, and they were into Kirby. I mean, it was nothing new, but, you know, as people came in, we talked about it so much that as new people came to the community, there's tons of videos out there where people were proud that they got their Kamandi #1, and they showed off, and I've seen a few reviews. But what I think, what I've been waiting on, what I've been setting on since making videos, and at this time I've been doing it for 5 years, and I've just sort of been waiting, is that the first 2 chapters of Kamandi are actually a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood. You know, not an exact duplicate. Kamandi is named after Kamandi, the underground fort, I guess, that he was living in. After this great disaster had hit, that all they know is that it had something to do with radiation. And he lives with his grandfather, and he goes out into the world / the woods, and then he hurries up and tries to get back, traveling back through the woods, if you will. Sees people that cannot talk, and the world has changed, and you know, everything that he's learned has been by growing up in Kamandi right here, and everything was on microfilm, so he knows the world before, and it looks like it was actually 1972. So Kamandi goes back to Grandma's house, Kamandi, if you will, and instead of an old lady, old grandmother, we have his grandfather, who is now dead. He sees the back of someone wearing clothes, but you know, he pulls out a gun, starts firing at him, and as he rushes out, all messed up over his grandfather dying, he runs into the big bad wolf, the talking wolf. So I always wondered why one of the first creatures we saw was a wolf, and that's what was my clue. So there you go. There's a big secret about Kamandi. Now, a lot of people kind of consider this a rip on Planet of the Apes. That's not entirely true. Kamandi Infantino did not acquire, he was the publisher of DC Comics at the time, and he did not acquire the rights to Planet of the Apes. So he, you know, wanted Kirby to come up with something like it, and not only did Kirby come up with Kamandi, but Kamandi Infantino tried to take credit for it. Well, comic book collectors, being what they are even back then, soon found a comic that's, you know, been established from the 50s, the late 50s, even predating the novel Planet of the Apes, where the concept of Kamandi and the talking animals, you know, in the post-apocalyptic world were established in, I think it was called Amazing Adventures #1 through Harvey Comics. So Kamandi Infantino got, you know, egg on his chin. Here's a great splash page. Just not to make this, I think you get the point. Now, for the comic books they did not have in here, number 3 and 4, we get a quick review, a synopsis, if you will, of what happened in those books. So if you're reading this, by the time you get here, they just keep the story going along. Fantastic stuff. I mean, look at the reds. I think I like comic book covers with the red backgrounds. These, you know, just fantastic stuff. But the comparisons to Planet of the Apes, I completely understand the franchise. Again, this is what's amazing about these covers. You know, they're by Kirby and things, but when you look at this, you can tell that these were drawn separately, and they've been cut out. I'm wondering if it was an original piece of work, and in order to get the logo on here and stuff if somebody did not cut the original pictures and rearrange it to where they would fit back on the Bristol board. I mean, this is just amazing with the yellows. I'm going to lift it up and see if you can see what I'm talking about, if it'll show up. But it's just amazing to me. I never realized that. And down here we have some numbers. We have a Jack Kirby signature that did not show up in the book. This is just amazing. And that's what I mean. You get these and you can just study them. Look at all the flaws that are, how these are constructed. I mean, this is just amazing. Kamandi number 5. Kamandi written through. More tape. April number 1. Just amazing. More two-page spreads. Now, a lot of people consider the fact that when Kirby went to DC, Kamandi Infantino had his number. Kamandi Infantino was the #1 man. Jack Kirby was a superstar, but he was going to keep him in his spot. So he really got, people consider the inkers that Kirby had to work with as inferior inkers. Now, I'm not going to get into people making a living and critiquing and being artists and making it in comics, but I kind of agree that there were better people who were probably better suited. Whenever Kirby would draw Superman, like in Forever People or in Jimmy Olsen, they would have people, Kamandi Infantino would have people go in and redraw the faces of Kirby's that he drew on them. So the fact that's one of the reasons Kamandi is probably considered his biggest success. Oh, this is just fantastic. Again, I'm starting to get lost in the art. That doesn't usually happen. I should have really read this a couple times so I could get over it. Oh, just fantastic stuff. Fantastic. July, Kamandi number 7, drawn in blue lines, dates. Oh, this is just fantastic. Great stuff. So as we get on in here to the back, Kamandi number 8, we get a synopsis again because they did not have all the pages. We get to issue number 9, Ben Boxer and some of those guys. We get to the end here, and of course we have a warning, so we know that there's something new here. This thing smells so good where it's so new. We have the extras, okay? We have Kamandi number 3, page 1, Kamandi number 3, pages 2 and 3, Kamandi number 3, pages 6 and 7, Kamandi number 3, page 11, Kamandi number 4, page 1, Kamandi number 4, page 2 and 3, Kamandi pencil sketches, Kamandi pencil sketches. So we have bits and pieces of what they were able to collect, and they put it all in here with us. Oh my gosh, I don't think this video is going to do justice to this doubles page spread. Oh my gosh, so much action going on here. And that was the great thing about Kirby. Everything was constantly in motion. He captured a moment exactly where it needed to be. Kamandi tied up in rope, or the whipping around him, sound effects. Everybody's exactly where they need to be, coming in at different angles. It's not swallowed up. Your eye, this is your center point where your eyes led to. I would be doing this better, but I mean, I'm lost in this. This is just beautiful. Your eye focuses here, and it actually travels down. Yeah, my eye is focusing here, and then it travels down the whip / rope, whatever this is, and goes to Kamandi, and then you see him, the other gorilla soldiers popping out. This is just fantastic. Kirby could make you look where you needed to look and take you places on his page. Oh my gosh. Beautiful stuff. Mike Royer signed his name where he was inking. And here's what's great about Kamandi. He's one of us. He's a comic book fan. They hit a place in the earth, they're scavenging here for food and everything like that, and he's found a issue of Demon number 1 that Kirby was also doing, and Kirby's just loving these comic magazines, and they're still quite readable. And he's being very, subtle, but they're talking about, I bet we can find other places to go out and find food and everything like that. And he goes, and I bet we can find another source of these comic magazines. So there you go. Kamandi was one of us, sitting there reading comic books. And then here's some fantastic pencil sketches, man. You have to see this to believe it, man. This is just fantastic. Oh my gosh. I think there was a Jack Kirby fan club, and they sent him some letters telling him who they were, and they were sending him things. So Kirby hand sketched a card and sent it to them. Thanks for all the nice cards that you sent. Oh, these are just beautiful. This right here, this was inked and painted and put on a Kirby Collector magazine. So that's not the first time I've seen that. That's it. Get to the back cover. So there you go, guys. Just a fantastic book. So glad to have it. So there's your video. I think I want to get on the couch and go through this. This is just fantastic. So, yay.